everyone. I recently came up with this closure idea on a journal that I did. I'll show you how it works, like so. And I'm making another journal, and I wanted to do a similar closure on that journal, so I thought I'd share the process with you. I've cut a piece of matching fabric to about 24 centimetres by 15 centimetres, which is roughly 9.5 inches by 6 inches. Those are the measurements I'm using. You don't have to be exact, you don't have to cut them to this size. You would cut your fabric to the size of the book that you're making. And what I've done is I've ironed some hem, iron my hems in just to make it easy to stitch, and now I'm going to just pin them down. I'm going to pin the corners, make a nice corner, so I'm taking that across, like I'm bending it across the corner like so, and then I'm just going to bring that over and pop a pin in it. And I'm going to do the same on the other side. Okay, so I've stitched all around the edges, so I've got a nice neat little oblong. Next I'm going to fold it back on itself and then stitch again all round all four sides. I'm going to use a really tight zigzag stitch this time and hopefully cover up the original stitch lines, and the zigzag stitch will hopefully give it a nice decorative edging, and I'll come back when that's done. Okay, so I've got my oblong piece all stitched around the edges. So I'm just going to look at it and decide which side I think is the neatest, and that's the side I'm going to have to the outside. And I think that is my neatest. So I'm going to take the cover. I haven't put the inside, let's bring it back out a bit. I haven't put the inside papers on to the cover yet, because any mess that I make at the moment, because I'm going to be making mess that's going to come through to this side, I want that to all be covered by the decorative papers I'm going to put on that, on the inside of this. So I've worked out that this, I haven't made my pages yet, so I'm just going to use something to stand in for my pages. And I've just sort of positioned, I'm not measuring things particularly, I'm just doing mostly it by eye, but I want my closure to sort of come around about there, and I've worked out that it's about 2 centimetres from my spine piece, so that's going to give me a rough idea. Now what I'm going to be doing is stitching this to the back piece of the cover. You could use glue, as long as it's a strong enough glue, but I'm going to stitch it, and that is quite a tricky procedure because there's a lot of thickness there, the fabric and the book. It's quite a lot of fabric, but it's quite a lot of thickness, but it can be done. I have done it, and I'm going to use a zigzag stitch again just to go across the existing zigzag stitch that I've already got, but I won't do it quite so tight this time. It's going to be a slightly looser zigzag stitch. So instead of, I've got my stitch length on 1 at the moment for this, I'll probably knock it back to maybe 2, or between 2 and 3, something like that. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I'll come back. Okay, so I've stitched the back piece on now. Not gonna lie, that was quite tricky. My machine was not happy going through all of this together, but I literally hand cranked it round slowly, really slowly. It did get trapped a few times, but I managed to get it through. But it's stitched on now, so that is, and it doesn't really matter. I don't know if you can see the mess that's on the back there, but it doesn't really matter too much because that is all going to get covered over, and I'm not worried about so I didn't tie anything off or backstitch it or anything like that, because the glues that are going to hold the paper down are going to hold all of that stitching in place as well. So it is quite a good firm way to add the this back closure on. But as I said, if you've got some really strong glue, knock yourself out, use that as well, or instead of. The next thing I need to do is to add my little eyelets to the closure piece. So I'll do that, I'll speed that up because you probably all know how to do that, but I'll still go through the process and speed that up.